You must leave. I'm not asking you to leave. I'm telling you, you must leave.
In vulnerable areas, police blasting out last-minute notices to evacuate.
Quickly secure your home or business and safely evacuate the area.
There are signs many here are heeding the dire warnings.
Absolutely going to leave now. Just taking whatever I can get in my car. And
bumper-to-bumper traffic heading out of town, while some of the region's most iconic communities look like ghost towns. In St. Pete Beach, we found the streets mostly empty today, except for piles of debris from Helene. Mexico is already being pummeled by Milton's heavy rain and intense wind. It's the strongest hurricane formed in the Gulf of Mexico since Rita back in 2005. Its stunning scale apparent in this view from space.
It's going to be a catastrophic impact potentially across two of the major population centers in Florida.
Even inland cities like Orlando expect to be impacted. Disney and Universal both closing their theme parks early tomorrow. While President Biden today announced he has canceled a planned trip overseas in order to focus on the storm.
This could be the worst storm hit Florida in over a century. And God willing, it won't be, but that's what it's looking like right now.
And that's exactly why Emily Siegel and Samuel Shearer are leaving.
this is debris from Helene.
Yeah.
They closed on their new home 3 weeks ago, just before Helene roared ashore.
What does this house mean to you guys? What does it represent?
I mean, it was going to be like our future, like long-term house. So this is pretty disappointing.
Like so many here in Florida, they don't have insurance.
We're still hoping it goes south, but we're definitely preparing for the worst.
This time, Tampa could be in the bullseye.
Large portions of the Tampa Bay area are going to be uninhabitable. You're not going to have power. You may not have other essentials.
According to one report, Tampa is one of the most vulnerable places in the country when it comes to storm surge. And the National Hurricane Center warns Milton could bring a wall of water up to 15 feet. Congressman Jared Moskowitz used to run Florida's Department of Emergency Management. He says models have shown a Category 5 hurricane hitting Tampa would be the worst disaster the state could possibly face.
The Director of Emergency Management and the National Hurricane Center is talking what's the worst case scenario for Florida. It is that. It is the black swan of a Category 5 storm coming into Tampa.
Researchers say the underwater depth off the coast and the funnel shape of the bay mean the right powerful storm could trap an enormous buildup of water. Another challenge? Tampa's dense population. More than 3 million people live in the area, and not everyone has the ability to pick up and leave. Tonight, some hospitals choosing to evacuate vulnerable patients.
Folks came from as far as Louisiana and Missouri with ambulances to help transport and move these patients safely.
Bob Fritzinger was moved from a hospital in Pinellas County, which sits on the Gulf, to safer ground.
They were really working. I mean, they're running up and down the halls.
Tampa resident Jennifer North will ride out the storm inside this shelter with her daughter Liliana.
I don't live too far from here, but my house is quite old and there's a lot of trees. Since it's just the two of us, I just felt safer being at a community shelter.
And the storm is so powerful, you're not going to take any chances.
Yeah, I'm not going to take any chances.
Okay. Liliana turns 2 on Friday. Her mom's still hopeful they'll get the chance to celebrate back home, even as this historic storm rages on.
Showing Milton Milton from above as it rapidly strengthened yesterday from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane in less than 24 hours. That has only occurred a handful of times on record in the Atlantic Basin, and all the lightning flashes near the center of your screen near that eye is a big giveaway of rapid intensification. This is the 5th strongest hurricane now on record in the Atlantic Basin and the second strongest ever recorded in the Gulf of Mexico, just behind Hurricane Rita in 2005. One of the main concerns of Milton will be storm surge. This map shows the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Much of the west coast of Florida could get over 6 feet of surge. The Tampa area could see up to 15 feet. That would nearly triple the highest surge recorded in the Bay and would put much of downtown and all of the airport underwater.
All along Florida's Gulf Coast, the race to escape is on. Residents filling sandbags, boarding up windows, and trying to clear debris that Hurricane Helene left behind. With up to 15 feet of storm surge possible, state officials are preparing for the largest evacuation since Hurricane Irma in 2017. Freeways already gridlocked for miles. Tampa's mayor with this blunt warning.
If you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
To 180 miles per hour. The Cat 4 hurricane visible from the International Space Station as it moves across the Gulf of Mexico. On NBC 6 South Florida, veteran meteorologist John Morales emotional at the storm's increasing threat.
I apologize. This is just horrific.
Residents of Western Florida filled cars with gas, stocked up on supplies, and loaded sandbags ahead of what could be a direct hit by a major hurricane.
We're just trying to brace out for much as we can.
As the day wore on, even stores nearly 100 miles inland began to run out of supplies. Governor Ron DeSantis implored Floridians to be ready for the worst-case scenario.
We urge you to execute your plan now. Let's prepare for the worst, and let's pray that we get a weakening and hope for the least amount of damage as possible. But we must be prepared for a major impact to the west coast of Florida.
Milton is expected to lash the Tampa Bay area by Thursday morning with a catastrophic storm surge of up to 15 feet, torrents of rain, and fierce winds. It would be the first major hurricane to directly hit the area in more than a century. Many seem to be listening. Cars clogged the main highways north and east as people fled the coast.
It's a matter of life and death based on hyperbole. It's a matter of life and death.
President Biden delivered a similar message today and announced that he's canceling a trip to Germany and Africa because of the storm.
I just don't think I can be out of the country at this time.
The White House also announced it will launch an account on the social media platform Reddit to keep people informed on disaster response and to combat misinformation. Many are facing another problem. There's still plenty of wreckage from Hurricane Helene, which badly damaged parts of the same area 2 weeks ago. Residents and authorities worry that debris could now become projectiles driven by Milton's high winds and rushing water.
It's really frustrating that the last hurricane came, the storm, and they've screwed around and haven't picked the debris up, and now they're scrambling to get it picked up. And if this one does hit, it's going to be flying missiles. Stuff's going to be floating, flying in the air.
Milton grazed Mexico today, mostly sparing the Yucatan Peninsula.